Wow, I definitely think this is the craziest thing I have ever done on my channel. And ever done because you have asked me to do it. So 2 weeks ago, I made my driver 7-iron length. But what happens if you make your 7-iron driver length? Just to put that into context right now, how long is that going to look? Okay. I'm here, it's Sunday, it's time to test it. Let's see how far it goes. But before we do that, let's cut back to Monday when I headed back to Bramwell Golf Club and Scott Parry's professional shop to get the job done. Tim Rastel sorted me out here. It was a bit of a long job. It required a lot more than you think to make that 7-iron driver length. Let's go.
So, unfortunately, we can't use my current 7-iron shaft. It simply can't be extended long enough, it'll become too flimsy and possibly break. So, we've got to take the head off. This is a simple process, we're going to melt this off, we're then going to use an uncut iron shaft and lengthen it that way, all the way up to driver length.
Amount of heat, really.
Is like a specific point you put the heat on?
Yeah. Sort of towards the bottom of the shaft. Probably about 30 seconds is enough to heat up all the glue, break the bond before we melt. So fair enough. Just breaks the bond, and off it pops.
That's going to be mightily hot.
And hopefully, we gently tap it, the ferrule will pop off. Out the head, make sure we get all the glue out to prepare it for its next journey. Whatever it's going to do. I mean, this is going to be very, very whippy.
What are you expecting is going to happen when I hit it?
I would think probably the shaft will be so whippy that you're really going to have to wait for it a lot to actually make a decent strike, I would have thought.
We're lucky to make a decent strike, I think.
Yeah. And one thing we want to make sure we do is that we just roughen the end of the shaft.
And why is that important?
That's important because we want the glue to adhere to the shaft when we put it into the head as much as possible.
Because these are two shafts that you just did this morning, wasn't it? So these are two customers here from the golf club.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're taking it to the extreme here, though. We're doing something a bit around.
Yeah. But I mean, just to make sure we get a decent fixing. I mean, also, don't use this afternoon, will you?
No. Maybe it'll be tomorrow or Friday.
Give it at least 24 hours. See, that collar on the ferrule is quite important because inside the head there's a little collar there as well. So again, that little bit on the ferrule is quite important to make it fit quite nicely.
We've now cleaned the inside of the head, roughed up the end of the shaft. It's time to mix some glue and just put a little bit behind the ferrule. This just stops it moving up after several hits. This is just one of Tim's little tricks to keep that ferrule in position. Only need a little bit of glue here. Once you've done this, we're then going to glue the head. Place a healthy amount around the end of the shaft, a little bit inside the head as well, and, well, all that's left to do is place the head on and clean the glue up.
Always put a bolt in the end to protect the shaft. On.
So we're saying this is about just bigger than a 2-iron length right now, aren't we?
This is about longer than a 2-iron length. but we're just going to put the extension in. When we normally put an extension in, I would like, for the amount that you're going to have on it, I would like to have a little bit more in, but as you just sort of playing with it, you know, you're not going to do anything purposely with it. You know, if I was putting this in for, you know, properly, I wouldn't want to have any more than sort of 2/3 of that length that I've got in the shaft, just to give it a solidity, really, to make sure that it's solid and it's not going to move anywhere. So, you know, you can see we could make it longer. We'll just make it as long as the driver shaft. So we're just going to put about another 5 inches on it. But we'll just stick it in to start off with. I mean, this is a simple operation. This just mixing a bit more glue.
So after gluing the shaft extender onto the end of the iron shaft, we're just going to cut it off on the mark point to make it the same length as a driver. This is going to feel ridiculously long. Grip back on. We saved that at the start. It's now time to test.
It is absolutely freezing. So we're back to Sunday, and if you ever play golf in the winter, you know exactly what one of these bad boys is. I don't think I could do this test today without it. It's keeping my hands warm. So just a massive thank you to Scott Parry, head professional at Bramwell Golf Club, and Tim for helping me out. All their links are down below. Be sure to check Scott out on Instagram and on Facebook. Now, you can't believe what actually goes into that whole process. It's like a 3-stage process, and many of us probably think that you have to send your clubs back to the manufacturer to get these things done. Well, not that you'd ever want to make your 7-iron driver length, but you know what I mean. Taking a head off, replacing a shaft, but you're wrong. These can be done in the back of most professional shops by a PGA professional. So, without further ado, let's get into this. But there's something I want to discuss before we get into the test. Now, this test may seem absolutely ridiculous. And well, if I'm honest with you, it is a little bit ridiculous. Just look at the length of this shaft. But there is a good meaning behind this. So let's just say you're going for a club fitting and you get a golf club that length of club is too long for you in an iron, okay? Imagine you get a 2.5 inch longer shaft or 1/2 inch longer shaft. It's actually going to affect your performance and your starting direction of your ball way more than you'd ever think. So if I place this club down behind the ball, you can see that this club now becomes so upright. The loft of this club is pointing so far off to the left, there's probably only one way this is going to go, so I'm going to have to adjust for that. So if we're going to learn anything today, getting fitted for the right length of shaft is super important, because as you make the shaft longer and almost get too long for you, you set the lie angle of that club a lot more upright. So got to understand, well, this shows how length of the club affects the lie. So the longer the club, the more upright it becomes. And another thing on this, you've got to think, well, why don't we use steel shafts in longer clubs now? Well, the simple reason for that is that this club is now ridiculously heavy. It's almost going to be, I think my tactic here is going to have to be longer, slower swings, just trying to time it. I don't think there's any way on this earth, if I go for this full out, I'm going to make good contact. So, 2 good learning points from today. If there is any, the length of the club affects the lie, and well, steel's pretty heavy. Let's get set up for this test. So we're going to use my flight scope again to see how far this ball's going, see what club head speed I'm going to create, and see what direction this ball goes in. Get in those comments down below. What do you think is going to happen? And also, on that point, remember, this part of the channel is all about you. So if there's any crazy idea, i.e. more like this, that you want me to do, smash those comments down below, because, well, we're open to anything, and I mean absolutely anything. So 5 golf balls away, let's see how this driver length 7-iron performs. I've got to be careful with that, like, it's a driver length 7-iron, not a 7-iron length driver. driver length 7-iron. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Let's go. I officially think we have 100% lost the plot. This is going to be crazy. Like, if I grab my driver, I stand here and I swing it, and not at any point do I think, you know what, that is the heaviest thing in the world. It's graphite, it's light, but it's the same length of what we've just made, this 7-iron. So we've made this 7-iron from 37.5 all the way up to 44.5. So this 7-iron is driver length. 100%. I'm going to have to go with that tactic of slow and long as my only way of striking this away. There is no chance I can be fast and vicious. Let's go, ball number 1. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going to have to aim way right here. There's only one way I'm going to get this to go straight, is aiming way right. Here we go. I'm actually going to address it where I'll put driver. Let's give it a go. Ball number 1. Wow, that's gone so high and so short. Oh, dearie me. This is going to be so interesting to see what speeds we can create. Oh my god, 139. Okay, let's go, ball number 2. Whoa, thin to win. So hard to control. Okay, first 2 golf balls away. So we hit one at 139, one at 145. The club head speed is averaging 97.9. Now, that is a little bit higher than what I would generally swing my 7-iron at. Around 90 miles an hour is my 7-iron. Smash factor incredibly low. It feels so heavy and so hard to control. It's untrue. Okay, 3 more balls to go. I honestly thought that I may be able to get this quite far, but I think that the weight of this club is outweighing what I can do in terms of swinging it, in terms of the potential I can swing it, but then also I'm actually worrying about making contact with the ball. Okay, hard to square the face here. Come on, trust in it. Give it a bit more. Come on. Give it a bit more. I got the ball slightly back of driver actually. See what happens here. Oh, we've ripped it. It's gone high. Definitely swung that quicker. That's gotta be a bit better again. Absolutely madness, that. Absolutely madness. So I'm just going to strike one away with my own 7-iron just to put these into context, and then we will get into the overall stats. While this feels like a feather and it feels tiny, should make it easy. Should do. Let's talk stats. So let's talk about the carries. 139.2, 145.1, 153.2, 148.4 and 151, giving me an average of 147.4. Now that is a lot shorter than I was expecting. I wasn't sort of thinking I'd get it upwards of 200, but not even getting it over 150 on average and only creeping to just over 150 has really surprised me. So my average club head speed was 99.1 and my fastest club head speed was 101.6. Let's just have a look at my 7-iron. Let's put this into context. So I carry my 7-iron at 173.4. Compare that straight off the gun to the average with the driver length 7-iron at 147.4. That is mad. A longer club has gone shorter. Conclude, it's mighty long, mighty heavy, very hard to control, and doesn't go very far at all. I am actually astounded. I really did think I was going to be able to hit this a little bit further, or at least the same as my 7-iron. I knew it would be heavy, I knew it would be long, I knew it would be really hard to do. I I can confirm, it certainly was. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget, if you are enjoying any of this content, hit that subscribe button and turn that bell on to not miss any of the daily golf content. We've got instruction and crazy challenges just like this.